All right, welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're going to be looking at something a lot of you probably struggle with, creating a truly exceptional dining experience. And we're going to be looking at the ideas from Maurice. He's a real pro in the food and beverage world and has a ton of experience in hospitality.
Yeah, this is gonna be good.
We really want to give you some solid advice that you can actually use, practical things you can implement in your hotel or restaurant right away.
Yeah.
Stuff that makes a difference.
Yeah, and the cool thing about Maurice's perspective, we've been going through his work, is that he doesn't get caught up in all the flashy trends. It's all about the fundamentals, the core stuff that really makes a restaurant great.
It's about turning your place into a, what do you call it,
A gastronomic gem.
gastronomic gym. Yeah, exactly. A
Yeah.
restaurant that people remember that just offers something special.
Exactly, where the whole experience is just top notch.
Okay, so let's get into it. Maurice really stresses the importance of having a strong vision, a clear purpose for your restaurant. It's more than just, hey, we serve food.
Right.
It's about asking yourself, like, why does your restaurant exist? What are you trying to achieve? What impact do you want to have?
Yeah, and what's really insightful is how Maurice shows how this vision, this why, it impacts every single part of your restaurant.
Everything.
It's not just some fancy words on a mission statement that nobody looks at. It's got to be the driving force behind everything you do. It inspires your team and guides your decisions. It affects your menu, your decor, how you train your staff, the whole 9 yards.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he gives a great example. He talks about reinventing local cuisine for new generations.
Yeah.
Now think about that for a second.
Yeah.
If that's your mission, then every dish you create becomes like this exploration of local ingredients, but with a modern twist.
Right.
And maybe your restaurant has this blend of rustic and contemporary design, reflecting that kind of old meets new thing. Even how your staff talks about the food would be shaped by that vision. It's all connected.
It's about telling a story, and everyone on your team is part of that story.
Right. And Maurice emphasizes that it's crucial to communicate this vision clearly to your team.
Oh, absolutely.
They need to understand why they're there,
Yeah.
why what they do matters.
It's about giving them a sense of purpose. If everyone understands the bigger picture, that they're part of something bigger than themselves, then even, prepping a sauce or serving a dish, it takes on a whole new meaning.
For sure. And this is a cool idea Maurice has. He says, find an unusual source of inspiration, like a band, an artist, a film, anything that really speaks to you, and let that influence your restaurant's culture.
I love that. It's about finding that thing that makes you unique, that gives you an edge.
Imagine drawing inspiration from, I don't know, a punk rock band to create this super high energy dining experience. Or maybe you're inspired by a certain filmmaker and your restaurant has this cinematic vibe.
Yeah.
It's about finding that unexpected something that gives you that special flavor.
Makes you stand out.
So think about it. What's a weird source of inspiration that could shape your restaurant and make it totally unique?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Now, this next point from Maurice, it's kind of interesting because it might seem counterintuitive at first. He talks about the importance of not trying to please everybody.
Yeah, it's he's saying it's okay if not everyone loves your restaurant.
Right. He makes the point that if you have a really strong identity, if you're doing something different, you're not going to appeal to every single person.
Yeah.
And that's actually a good thing.
Yeah, it's a sign that you're doing something right, that you're not just blending in with the crowd.
It's you're going to have some people just don't get it, and that's okay.
That's fun.
It's better to have a smaller group of people who absolutely love what you do than to try to be everything to everyone and end up being kind of bland.
Exactly. Trying to please everyone usually ends up pleasing no one.
And look, criticism's going to come.
Oh, yeah.
Part of the business.
It is.
But Maurice says don't let that make you change who you are. Don't water down your vision just because some people aren't into it.
What's important is to stay true to your brand. He uses this example of a really bold dish, maybe a savory dessert or something unusual.
Oh, yeah.
Some people might love it, some people might hate it. The easy thing to do would be to just take it off the menu.
Right.
But Maurice says, hold on, those bold choices, those are the things that attract a loyal following. The people who get it, they'll really appreciate it.
It's about building a tribe, a community of people who are passionate about your restaurant and what you do.
Exactly.
And Maurice says, use criticism as feedback.
Oh, for sure.
Learn from it, but always filter it through your core vision.
Yeah, you got to ask yourself, does this feedback help us get closer to our goals, or is it just a matter of personal taste?
Not all feedback is created equal.
Right.
So how do you handle feedback? Do you
Yeah.
have a system for figuring out what's actually useful and what you can ignore?
You got to figure out what aligns with your vision.
So we've got a vision. We're not afraid to be different,
Hmm.
but now we need to make it happen. Maurice talks about turning those ideas, those intentions, into actual actions.
Right, because a great vision without action, well, it's not going to get you very far.
It's just a dream.
Just a dream.
He says one of the best ways to do this is to define your core values. These are the principles that guide your team's behavior and decision-making.
And these values, they're not just empty words.
No.
They have to translate into real actions, things people actually do.
Exactly.
Hmm.
For example, if one of your core values is creativity, what does that look like? Maybe you organize workshops for your chefs to encourage them to experiment with new dishes. Or if hospitality is a key value, you develop training programs to help your staff really go above and beyond for your guests.
It's about making those values come alive.
Right. Marie says it's not enough to just say you value something. You have to show it.
Yeah.
And a good way to do that is to display your values where everyone can see them. Put them up in the kitchen, in the break room, even on your website. Make them a constant reminder of what you stand for. So if you've already defined your core values, think about it. Where are they visible? Are they truly guiding your team's actions, or are they just kind of forgotten?
Yeah.
All right, now this next point from Maurice is about involving your whole team in shaping your restaurant's strategy. He doesn't believe that strategic thinking should be limited to just the managers.
I love this idea. Often the people who are closest to the day-to-day operations, they have the best insights. They see what's working and what's not.
Exactly. The servers, the bartenders, they're the ones interacting with the customers all the time.
They are.
They're going to have some great ideas on how to improve things. And when you involve your team in this way, they feel valued. They feel invested in the restaurant's success.
It gives them a sense of ownership, like, hey, my ideas matter, I'm part of this.
Maurice even suggests closing down the restaurant for a day just to have a brainstorming session with the whole team. Like, get everyone together and ask, how can we make the customer experience even better?
I mean, that's a bold move, but it can be so powerful to have that kind of open dialogue, that creative energy flowing.
And he encourages crazy ideas, things that might seem a little out there at first. You never know where those might lead.
Sometimes the most unconventional ideas turn out to be the best ones.
Exactly. So how could you create a similar space for brainstorming with your team? How could you encourage that kind of free thinking, where everyone feels comfortable sharing their ideas, no matter how wild they might seem?
Yeah, that's worth considering.
Okay, now, this one's a bit of a mind bender. Maurice argues that pursuing seemingly contradictory goals can actually be really beneficial.
Yeah, this one's interesting. It's about finding the sweet spot between two seemingly opposite things.
Like being super precise in your execution, but also warm and welcoming in your hospitality. Or, being innovative in your cuisine while still respecting traditional techniques.
It's about finding that balance, that tension that creates something truly unique.
It's like a dance between two different forces.
Like a push and pull.
And Maurice gives a great example. He talks about striving for impeccable service in a casual, relaxed setting.
Yeah.
So how do you do that? Maybe your staff is highly trained and knowledgeable, but they're also really approachable and down to earth. Or maybe you create a playlist that blends classical music with something more modern, like jazz. It's about finding that unexpected harmony.
Right, it's not about choosing one over the other.
Yeah.
It's about finding a way to make them work together.
Maurice even suggests having specific discussions about these contradictions. Like, ask your team, how can we be both fast and attentive? The answers you get might surprise you.
Oh, they definitely can. That's where the magic happens.
Okay, last but not least, Maurice talks about something that's often overlooked, and that's giving meaning to your team's work. It's about helping everyone understand that every single thing they do, no matter how small, contributes to the overall guest experience.
Yeah, it's about making everyone feel like they're part of something bigger.
Exactly. Like Maurice uses this simple example of explaining to the dishwasher how their job of making sure every plate is sparkling clean actually adds to the customer's enjoyment of the meal.
Oh, absolutely. It's about showing people that their work matters, that it has a real impact on the guests.
It's not just about washing dishes, it's about creating an experience.
Exactly.
And when people understand that, they feel more motivated, they take more pride in what they do.
For sure.
And to reinforce that, Maurice suggests sharing positive customer stories with the whole team. Let them see how their hard work is paying off, how it's making a difference.
It's a great way to boost morale and keep everyone engaged.
So to sum it all up, the key takeaways from Maurice are these.
Okay.
Have a clear vision, embrace your uniqueness, translate your intentions into actions, involve your whole team, explore those creative tensions, and give meaning to everyone's work.
Maurice really gets it, you know?
Yeah.
He understands that running a restaurant, it's not just about serving food, it's about creating an experience.
It's about telling a story.
Exactly, it's about making people feel something.
So if you're a hotel or restaurant owner, take Maurice's advice to heart. You can transform your establishment into something truly special, a place that people will remember and want to come back to again and again.
That's the goal, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, here's a final thought to leave you with.
Yeah.
Think about the story that your restaurant tells, not just through the food, but through everything.
Yeah.
The ambiance, the service, the music, everything. What's one thing you could change, or maybe just amplify, to make that story even more powerful?
What's that one thing that could take it to the next level?
That's something to think about.
It is.
Until next time, happy cooking.
And happy serving.